What is up, guys? It's your boy Brandon, aka Drip, back with another video and another locals deck profile on locals tournament deck profile. This week's deck profile is going to be on Mech Knights, Mech Knight Orcust in particular, with the splash of Adventure Engine. And I know some people are probably not going to like that, but the only reason I'm even running the Adventure Engine is because it helps Mech Knights go first. And I do not own Prosperity. I'm not paying $130 for that card. I just wait until it gets reprinted. And even with Prosperity, it still doesn't really help your consistency that much, because Mech Knights, the only way they can really go first without running a bunch of other stuff is if they see Gear Suit going first, and then even then it has to resolve. So the Adventure Engine actually has a fair amount of synergy with this deck. It helps us extend. It helps us get Omni Negate on board if we need it, out back row, because Mech Knights are like horrible against back row, at least with my matchups. I do not run yellow. Yellow doesn't come up that much because we don't run that big of a Mech Knight package. There's a lot of different synergies with the deck that I'll explain more when we go into detail when we get there, but the Mech Knight version is my favorite version of Orcust. I do like the Snake Orcust. I know some of y'all are probably here who have seen my exotic Snake Orcust list. I am going to update that list for you guys because I know you've been asking for it. It's in the works, and we'll get there when we get there. But so be on the lookout for that in like the upcoming videos. I'm actually planning on releasing it fairly soon. But with that being said, guys, please drop a like if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already as well. Hit the bell notification so you never miss an upload. And then check all the ways to support me and what I do down in the description below, whether it be in the Discord, become part of the D2D fam, or my merch that's down there as well, or Patreon if you need help with, or you just want to be close to the DD fam, or you may need help with like side decking tips, coaching, any other stuff like that you would like to get from me. Check that down in the description below as well. A bunch of cool little perks and stuff in the Patreon as well, because I reworked the Patreon, so there's a bunch of cool little perks down there. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get in this list. I got 4th place with this list. I feel like I could have done better, but in the finals, the deck kind of hated me. I opened all Orcusts, and I don't even run that big of an Orcust lineup, and I could not see a starter whatsoever. I couldn't even see a Mech Knight or a way to get to a Mech Knight, so like it kind of sucked. But the deck outside of the finals, the deck actually like was really cracked. I drew really well, very consistent. Round 1, I played against Trap Eldritch Stun, garbage ass deck. And I tied with that, so me tying with that, then winning out, then losing the finals is the reason why I got 4th place. But I still stand by this deck and what it does and how it performed. But the deck does like to go second, hence why we run the Adventure Engine. But start off, we're going to do the Mech Knight version, the Mech Knights. I am going to do this deck profile in engines, so be aware of that. We got 3 blue, 3 purple, only 2 blue. I was thinking about running 3, but I just need to trim it down for space. 1 indigo and one secret. That's all you main deck. I do run the succession, but I have it with the spells, so don't freak out. But that's it for the Mech Knights. Just very standard for the most part. No red, no yellow. Even though red I think would have came up a couple of times, but I still didn't need it. One with the Orcust, we got 3 Gear Suit. And I know what some people are probably thinking. They're like, why are you running 3 Gear Suit if you were running the Adventure Engine? And the Adventure Engine takes away your normal summon effect. That is very true, that it does. But I still wanted 3 to be able to have a way to normal summon a monster if I didn't see any of my Adventure Engine. On top of that, even if it locks you out from sending stuff with his effect, he still is a Orcust and a Mech Knight, which plays double the role in this deck. Because there's certain situations where, like, for an example, you open like World Wand. I don't know if any of the other Orcust players open that card more than any other card, but I do. I open World Wand, and then you open like Mech Knights or whatever. You go Mech Knight combo, and then you could just use purple to banish this, search like a blue, and then even if you already went like let's say you went adventure combo. You go adventure combo, then you go purple, you normal summon this, get purple in the field, purple, instead of banishing itself, you could banish this, and then go search another Mech Knight, like blue, special blue, search again, and then you can take the purple and the blue, link into, you can link into, whatchamacallit, the link to, and then discard the wand to search secret, and then banish the wand to summon the Girsu, and then Girsu will send the since this was special summoned, then the Girsu can send your Orcust cards and get your Orcust cards online, because it counts as a Mech Knight. And even if you didn't have access to all that, because I know that kind of sounds situational, but I'm just telling you some of the cheeky stuff that this card like promotes just by its name. And that's just with the Mech Knight combo. And then even if you don't have access to all that, him on the field is still an Orcust card, which means it gives you access to your Galatea. So it's just very nice. For the rest, if you see my Orcust deck profiles before, my ratios usually always will be the same until Heart comes back. Dear Konami, please at least give us 1 Heart back, please. 2 Skelly, 2 Wand, 1 Brass, and then the one of Spells and Trap. I know some people swear by like a second return because of Mystic Mine and stuff like that. I get that, but I only really needed 1. I like this ratio. This will probably always be my ratio. I don't like the 1 of every one, like 3 Girsu, 1, 1, and 1. I don't like that because, yes, I get the fact if you rotate your cards properly, you will never need it. But even if you rotate them properly, there are some situations in the grind game where you physically can't rotate them properly, and the second copy of another one will come up, and I don't want that situation to happen because it has happened to me before. So 2s are perfect in my book. On top of that, even if you see them in hand, we run the Adventure Engine, and the Adventure Engine, like, with using its engine, actually helps pitch cards, which gets these out of your hand, which is really nice. So, and on top of that, like I said before, even when I was explaining Girsu with its Mech Knight version, with the Mech Knight effect, if you have it in hand and wand, even drawing the wand is not that bad, because the second wand, the wand actually counts as extender, because if you hard draw the wand and you have Orcust combo, it's really like poggers, because you could, when you send Nightmare to send this can special this to get a second one online. A lot of people wouldn't think of that, because a lot of people would, if they have this in hand or didn't have a way to pitch it, they'll probably immediately just go Skelly. But I always go Wand and then special Wand from hand, because its first effect allows you to special itself, which comes up sometimes because it gives you an additional extender. But yeah, I like the ratios, nothing I would change. Another thing too is, I didn't mention this with my Mech Knights, I'm not running a Crown, and I'm not running Chalice. Chalice, myself personally, I feel like is only really good in pure Mech Knights. And in Crown, I couldn't find room for it. But if I were to play this deck at an event, take it to an actual event, and not a locals meta call, and it was just an overall meta call, I would most definitely play Crown. So I don't know exactly what I'd cut for it. You could, if you're watching this after this video has been posted for a while, you can comment down below and ask me, and I'll probably know. Or you can just add it and run an extra card. Onto the Adventure Engine. Very like simplistic. I didn't want to go too deep into it and like dedicate a lot to it. 2 water, 2 right, 2 1 wandering, 1 illegal, 1 Draco back, and faithful. 2 2 1 1 1 1. The only reason I even run a second right is because DD Crow is a card. I'm thinking about trying to find a way to add a 3rd water. Only reason I ran 2 is because I didn't want to draw 2, and I didn't want to draw this, and didn't have any other engine. So basically, like I said, I didn't want to dedicate too much to it, because I didn't want to draw too many Adventure Engine like cards and not enough Mech Knights or Orcusts. Like I said before, the only reason this engine is even in here is to help us go first, because we want to go second. So if our opponent forces us to go first because they're like, oh, they're playing Mech Knight, so let's just force them to go first. Okay, I'm going to end on Orcus combo with this. And even if I can even go full combo with Mech Knights too, because this and Orcus help me open up columns even before I go Orcus combo, locking me into darks. So it happened. It is what it is. It's actually very nice. It flows very well. On top of that, having a Draco back to bounce cards along with sending them with Orcus cards is really nice, and really nice like when it comes to clearing boards. And like I said, even if you don't use this package for its negate factor, using it for an extenders is really nice too. So to help us link climb. But that's it for the adventure engine. The last monsters in the deck is 3 Droll. This was a locals meta call, but I think even like if you were to take this to event, this is still a really good meta call. This kills Flunder. This really hurts Theroin, plants. It could even, if you hit it in certain situations, it could also hurt Branded, because they use Aliber to add. Then even if they add Branded Fusion or Branded Loss, you Droll them. They can't use Tragedy's effect to add the ad lib, so they can't really go. They can't plus as hard, which means it kind of indirectly turns their Branded Red off. Even if they hard draw the Branded in red, or they send it with they set it during end phase, they don't get to plus as hard on your turn. Granted, they'll still have the interaction on your turn with Chimera and all that. They don't get to plus as hard, and what I mean by that is they don't get to search another Aliber during end phase. So it forces them to where if they do like during your end phase or whatever when they're playing on your turn, because it forces them to where they can, I take that back, I'm sorry. They can search the Aliber during your end phase, but they don't get their Mirror Jade back. That's what I was trying to explain. Sorry, I'm trying to explain too many things at one time. They can send it and they can search the Aliber, but they don't get their Mirror Jade back, if that makes sense, because they don't have the ad lib. They have to be cracked players and hard draw the ad lib in order to do so, or foolish it if they have if they're just good Yu-Gi-Oh players and draw the outs to your Droll or whatever. But it's against Despia, but against overall meta call for my locals and just overall meta call in general, I still think Droll is most impactful, because that's why I don't run hand traps. I run board breakers in this, because there's so many different decks. If it's not Sword Soul or Branded, then every other deck, Ash, Imperm, and all that is just mediocre, because they could just play through it. So if I want to main deck a hand trap, I want it to be turn ending, like Lancia or something like that. But my locals itself doesn't really banish that much, and even in meta call wise, no one really banishes besides either Tri-Brigade Rogue deck or Sword Soul. So yeah, it's not a good one to main. I wouldn't main Ash. But, you can do it. If you want to, you can swap these out for Ash. But I think Droll's better. Moving on to the spells. Got 3 Droplet. Droplet is Droplet. These were Dark Rulers for a while. And then I forgot that I play Orcust in this deck. And when I was testing online, I was like, why in the hell am I playing Dark Ruler? Because I would Dark Ruler people and then have no way to combo or do anything else, and I would have Orcusts in hand. So I was like, swap for Droplet, and ever since I did that, it was so much better. Droplet, 10 out of 10 in this deck, way better than Dark Ruler. 2 talents. This card is cracked. It overperformed for me online and this week at locals. This card's very good, very, very good. And what's really nice is, even if they because this deck is gas, so your entire deck, a lot of people when they play against the people who think they might play talents, they try to play around it, but this deck forces interaction with monsters and stuff, so it forces this card to be live basically. Now for the power 1-ofs, because we have a lot of them. 1 Succession. I do main deck the 1 Duster. Burial. 1 for 1, called by, and then the sack. I sacked people 2 times with Change of Heart this week. It was the first time me using it since it was legal. I honestly haven't, like, it's just crazy because I haven't used Change of Heart since it was since I was like 8 years old when it was legal. Like, I know it was probably legal at one before then, like after that, but I didn't play competitively back then. So I haven't played like Change of Heart since like 2003, and it was, I don't know, 2002. It was, I don't know, it was just crazy. I sacked people twice with it, and it felt good. In one match, I drew Change of Heart, Talents, evenly matched, Red Reboot, and then Adventure combo, and it was just, I don't know, it was just nasty. But that's it for the deck. 43, I believe. I could be wrong. 42, 43. On to the extra. Extra deck's going to be broke down in Engines 2. We got 2 Galley and 1 Long. People sleep on Long. Long is actually really gross. And then 2 Ding. So 2 Galley, 1 Long, 2 Ding. Pretty standard for that. Don't really need to say much. Sorry, I hit the camera. Mech Knight, 1 Morning Star. I don't need 2 in this deck because 2, like, you don't really need it. You only resolve it once to get secrets, and then you just win from there. 1 Lib card is just cracked. This card is so stupid. I love her so much. And then my favorite Mech Knight in the extra deck, Spectrum. I love stealing wins with this card. It's just so good. It almost came up. It came up, like, it didn't, like, when I say it almost came up where it came up, I still had game, but, like, there was, I ran, the time ended, and I won in time anyways, but I could have pushed for significant damage with this. I was about to go into this and then move it to his own column with Indigo, and then just attack directly for, like, damage that you couldn't overcome. But that's it for the Mech Knight extra. We don't run Avermax because if you're making a Link 4, it's going to be more, like, significant. I still run the IP engine, whatever, utility cards. The Link Spider, I actually did not run this until like 5 minutes before locals. I added this in, and I'm telling you right now, with the addition of this card, if I didn't have this card, I probably would have lost a lot of games. Because I didn't want to just end on the Adventure Engine. I wanted to actually go full combo. So I would just use the Adventure Engine to help me get into combo. Because the Adventure Engine 2 helps you, like I said before, pitch cards and all that. And then you just link the token off into this and then just use the Wandering or whatever else you got for Link fodder. Link Spider's gross. 1 Secure Gardener, because there's some situations where you can't really get away from Lib because you've already, like, went through your Morning Star and you don't have another Morning Star to go into, and you can't go into IP because you can't use a Link monster. So it's very situational, but it does come up, and I'd rather be strapped with this than not. So you just link the Lib off into this, because a lot of people forget that Lib is a Cyberse Link monster, and this requires a Cyberse Link monster. And speaking of another Cyberse Link monster, Link Rebo for the token. And if you go Adventure combo and you hard draw Brass and like Nightmare, you just normal summon the Brass. After you go Adventure combo, link the Brass off into Link Rebo, and then just banish the Brass to special summon the Nightmare, and then you just go combo. And then the best Link 4 is Ouroboros. Ouroboros is gross. That's the better Link 4 in my opinion. And then the one card I never summon, but I want it to be there in case, and it's the Divine Arsenal AA Zeus. You just have a ding and then just attack, overlay on top, send, GG's. Onto the side deck, because this is a locals deck profile. If you've been a member of the channel for a while, you know if it's a locals deck or a tournament deck of any sort, I will show you the side that I run. Started out the side. 2 Compulse, because we do run Mech Knight, so they will probably make us go first sometimes. So you always want to be strapped with traps. More traps, D-Barrier, More traps, Trap Trick, because Trap Trick can search any of these and they're live. Compulsory on a properly timed, like, whatchamacallit, branded deck. It feels good. 2 evenly matched, because I can't stand back row and the top tier deck, like top heavy decks that just make almost unbreakable boards. Came in clutch, won me round 3. Yeah. Red Reboot, because I can't stand people that just play Solemn cards and crutch on them because they're not good enough to make actual decks that can play negates. And Altergeist. Fuck that deck. Deck is shit. Then Scythe Lock. I don't feel like dealing with that. Plus more back row hate. Cosmic is Cosmic. Enough said. And then 2 Dark Hole. Dark Hole just to wipe the board, and because it forces interaction, whether it be a monster negate or just a negate itself before you combo. And then I hate trap decks, like if you couldn't already tell. The main deck itself can kind of deal with combo, but the deck kind of struggles with back row. So that's why a lot of my side deck is for back row, as you see here. But Key is just very gross. I don't want to main deck it because there's not very many, like in the meta, there's not very many back row decks, so I just rather side it. And yeah, but don't want to be caught strapped without it. Definitely if you get that live in Secrets, you're just winning. You win. That's actually it for the main deck and extra deck and side deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed it for this updated MEKK-KNIGHT Orcust list. I love it. I love the adventure engine, if you couldn't already tell. Yeah, the deck is very good, very busted, and I hope you all enjoy it. Let me know in the comment section what all you'd like to see next outside the Exotic Orcust. I'm working on it. But with that being said, guys, please check out the description with all the links to ways to support me and my channel and help me keep trying to bring the best content that I could potentially bring to you guys. But with that being said, guys, hit the like button, subscribe button. You all have a wonderful day, night, morning, evening, whenever you're watching this video. Hope you all are staying safe out there in the age of COVID, even though it's almost over, basically over. I'll still say that because I still want y'all to be safe. But it's your boy, Brendan, a.k.a. Drip. Out. Peace.